This video of my Amiga collection is going to focus on the CD32. I'm going to cover the hardware a bit, the SX expansion that I have that turns into basically an Amiga 1200 computer, which will have all the inputs and outputs that a 1200 would have. I'm going to show how I transfer files using Windows Vista to Amiga 1200, and I'm going to show a couple of other things that are interesting like JPEG, SysInfo, and if you're interested in the Amiga CD32, you'll find this one interesting. The one drawback is that you will see that I have a CD32 that has a power supply that's bulging, and I have to test it. And does the power supply work? Well, I guess you'll have to find out. Watch the video. It's a desolate looking scene here. Again, this is my Amiga setup out in the garage, and I've got an Amiga 1200 set up. This is not the one I've been talking about lately. This is one that's been upgraded and has a whole bunch of expansions. On the right of that is my Amiga 2000, which has not been upgraded too much. To the left of this is going to be, this is my laptop, which is to the left of my Amiga 1200. And it's covered in plastic. It's going to be taken down. The focus of this video tonight is going to be this CD32. Can I manage to dig it out? This is what we're looking at here. I hope I can. Beneath that CD32 box is my CD32 software, which is in this box. A close-up of this only reveals that. Terrible handwriting, and it's been there for about 4 years. In the meantime, this was borrowed by a friend, and I've gotten it back. Okay, the first thing I need to make happen is to get rid of this Amiga 2000. It does not need to be there anymore, so say goodbye. So much for the Amiga 2000. You'll notice I left the keyboard. Why'd I do that for? Well, because I'm going to be using it with my CD32. If not in this video, then in another one. Now I'm going to show you a quick thing about this Amiga 1200. The reason I'm concentrating on this 1200 is because the Amiga 1200 and the CD32 share many similarities. Alright, let's see what I want to show you next. Okay, this is sort of a contest. On the left-hand side here is my Vista laptop. On the right-hand side, we have my Amiga 1200, and we're going to see which one boots faster. So, let's get going here. Turn it on, turn it on. And there's no contest. The Amiga 1200, which has a 68030 with 4 megabytes of fast RAM, is going to boot really fast. And my other system, which is, as you can see, it's booted. It's done. How long did that take? 10 seconds? Probably not even that long. My my Windows Vista machine is going to be taking probably another 3 minutes or so. So let me back out of here and I'll show you what's going on when I'm done. So what I've got going on here is my Amiga Vista machine, my Amiga 1200, and I'm showing this even though this is a video about the Amiga CD32 because this system is very similar, and I'm going to be using the same setup to transfer some files to my CD32 when it's got a hard drive installed in it. The Amiga CD32 is really a game console, but I have a pretty rare expansion that lets you make it basically into this machine. Why would I want to do that since I have this machine? Good question. I guess because I can, and it's pretty neat to do. I've got a USB to serial adapter here. I've got a null-modem cable here, hooks up into my Amiga 1200. This is no different than a null-modem that you'd use on any other computer. It works great. I'm connected at a slow baud rate, however. I'm connected at 19.2. I could actually make things run faster. I can get a different serial device and software hooked up to my Amiga. For simplicity's sakes, I'm just doing it this way. I already transferred about 10 megabytes worth of files to my Amiga from the system. I'm going to be disconnecting it. I'm not going to be using it anymore for a while. I did use it over the last week and played some games, showed some demos to some friends, things like that. On this side, you can't see too well, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in and you'll be able to see a little bit better. This is my Amiga Vista computer. You might be hearing a clicking noise, and that is my Amiga 1200 beside it. It is the disk drive sound that it makes when it's looking to see if there's a disk inserted. A lot of people get annoyed by that, but I'm okay with it. So I have Amiga Explorer 9 installed on here. I installed it on this side, and then I installed it without having to use a floppy disk or anything, just to the Amiga through the serial cable, which is a pretty neat experience. It works pretty darn fine. Alright, so I'm opening it up, and now I'm exploring the Amiga side, so I'm seeing the files via the serial cable. So this is my RAM disk on the Amiga, this is my Workbench disk, or actually this is my Workbench disk, but this is my work disk, this is my system disk which contains my Workbench. as an example. And remember, this is going at 19.2 baud, so rather slow. So I'm opening up my system disk, and you might have heard, as I did that, my Amiga floppy drive sort of made some fluttering noises. And so, yeah, it does work. And now I'm going to open up my Workbench disk. And what I did is, on my Workbench side, I made a transfer file, or transfer directory, which is called a drawer on the Amiga. And I moved some demos, which I installed and actually ran. The Boing demo over there, stuff like that. Maybe I'll show you that one, or maybe the Juggler demo, that's a little better, I think. I moved some music, some JPEGs, and my friend Quinn and I run a couple of these, and I'll show them on the Amiga. They run fast enough. I'm not going to show them on this side, but they do work. And I think that's about all I want to show. I'm going to back out. But take note that my Amiga, when I show it on the other side, has a work disk, a RAM disk, and a system disk. Alright, let me close that out right now. And next thing you'll see is my Amiga. Okay, I'm about to boot up this Amiga. Let's give it a start. First thing you'll hear is the hard drive spinning up. It's been, I don't know how long it actually takes. 10, 20 seconds to boot up to from beginning to end. And that's to a full Workbench, which is, you know, the Windows equivalent. That's how fast it was. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just showed you what it was like to look at my system from the Vista side. So here we have the equivalent that we were seeing. We have the system directory, which is on here, it's actually called a volume here, and it's because this is a partition. It's about, I think, 20 megabytes. Let's see, it's 13% full, 87 megabytes free. Oh, this system actually has a 2 gigabyte hard drive in it, I think, so it's much bigger than the original 1200 I was showing you. Alright, so it's got the system, it's got my Workbench, and it's got my RAM disk. My Workbench partition is, it's got 964 megs free, it's 50% full, so maybe this is a 4 gigabyte hard drive. I can't remember. I'm just showing this quick. I really want to get to the Amiga CD32 tonight if I can manage it. Of course, what I want to do is show a quick thing. Oh, and this is much speedier. Even just giving fast RAM to a Amiga makes it faster, but this one also has an upgraded CPU. It has a 68030 as opposed to what comes in it. So utilities, we're going to check out SysInfo, and it tells us a little bit about our machine. We're going to do a quick test. It doesn't really matter. No need to really do that here, but speed. And a lot of people do these in their videos, and I don't blame them. I used to use this utility a lot when I was a tech for the Amiga. So yeah, something interesting. My memory, I have 4 megabytes of fast RAM, and which is pretty great. Tells me where it is and all that stuff, but that doesn't matter to me right now. I don't think there's any other. Oh, there's chip RAM too. So there's chip RAM, and so I have 6 megs in this system. Although really, I want to only use the fast RAM if I can manage it, and that's it. So exit that. Let's look at my drives. I have a CD0, but I don't have that actually hooked up. That's my scroll device. So in my PC slot on the side of the Amiga 1200, I can plug that in. I have my DF0, which would be my disk drive. My PC0, which is my floppy disk drive, but same one, but I can read Windows disks. Here I have my system disk. So let's check that out. It says it's a SCSI device, which is a lie. It's actually an IDE device. I don't know why they decided to call it SCSI.device, even though it's IDE, but they did that, and there's actually some logical reason behind it, but I don't remember what it is. And it tells me I have, does it tell me how big it is? Not in simple terms, I have to figure it out. Total number of blocks, I don't know how that works. Total number of blocks on this one, it says, so if I break that, I don't know how blocks break down to K. So anyway, I've got about, I think, a 4 gigabyte hard drive in here. Let's quit here, and I'm going to get back to my Workbench. One thing I did want to do is I wanted to show a picture of my friend Quinn and I. I've been wanting to do this since I transfer files. Here's my Workbench disk. These are the files I transferred, and here are my JPEGs. But what I want to do is I want to use my utilities, and I have, oh, the utilities are going to be the utilities here and Visage. So now I'm going to pick volumes. I'm going to pick my workbench partition, and I'm going to go to the files I transferred, which are here. I'm going to go to my JPEGs, and my first wife's name was Gabby, which I wanted to show. Her name was Gabriella. I wanted to show Quinn a picture of her from around 2000. He remembers her. So I'm going to do that here. Just going to show it real quick. It looks like it's kind of freaking out. Sorry about that. But it'll hopefully focus a little bit better when the picture is complete. So that's a picture of her and I from about 20 years ago. She died about 15 years ago. Alright, so let's get to another picture. And this is my buddy Quinn and I from our most current time together. This would have been about 4 years ago. This wasn't the last time I saw him. I think that was in 2018. But I was visiting him on the East Coast. Now what's interesting about this picture is this Visage is the only one I could get to actually show this properly. And it's because this is some kind of weird format that I didn't realize. I mean, it shows so quickly on a PC. But this is, it's getting a little bit better as you look at it. You can't really tell too good, but it is. It's getting a little bit finer. There's kind of this line drawing down the screen. But that is a picture of my friend Quinn and I. So that's what I look like. It's easy enough to Google my name and find a picture of myself anywhere. So there you go. Let's get out of this. Anything else I want to show here? I don't think so. I think the next thing you're going to see is a picture of me rummaging through my CD32 box. All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad that I was able to show you this Amiga because it's one of my favorite systems. And next up, we're going to be using the console version of it. All right. Let's see what I have coming on next. All right, we are looking at the box for the CD32. This is the original box when I shipped this from China. How it ended up in China, I don't know. This is the NTSC version of it. They had hundreds, thousands of these. In 2007, when I bought these for $100, that's how much all of them were that they were selling them on eBay. Tell you a little bit about the box. It claims to be the world's first 32-bit CD games console. Maybe it is, I don't know. It came out in what, 92? Dual-speed, state-of-the-art CD-ROM drive. Stores the equivalent of 660 floppy disks, which is, 880K floppies. 32-bit processor and the new Buster graphics accelerator, which I don't really know what that is, but I think it allows you to move like 3D objects around a little faster, something like that. Maybe not 3D objects, but I think it's a converter. I don't really know what I'm talking about here. You've got a palette of 16.8 million colors, so basically it's the AGA chipset. And if you wanted to, you can choose to listen to Cv32 software. You can listen to audio CDs, and I may try to put a snippet of New Order in here for just one moment, but I don't want the video to get pulled, so maybe not. You can listen to and watch the CD graphics discs and CD TV titles. I used to have a CD TV. I don't have that anymore. That was a pretty cool system. It actually was, in many ways, much more versatile than this, although it didn't have the AGA chipset. And you can easily connect this to any standard TV. Let's see what's on the back of the box. Oh, and if you notice down here, it's got it in 3 other languages. So, all right, we'll see the side of the box first. All right, here's the back of the box. I actually was trying to do a video of the side of the system too, but not too much to see. I want to do a close-up here in a minute, but it's got it in English and 3 other languages. And I'm going to actually do my best to zoom in. You'll notice it says Amiga, CD32, and Commodore in little letters right there. But really, this is a Commodore product, but they don't really try to flaunt it anymore. I guess maybe they were trying to, I don't know, I guess they weren't hiding it, but really it really says this, it shows about the console. When you look at it, it says Amiga on it. I don't even think it says easily to see Commodore on the front. But I'm going to zoom in into this corner here, and I'll show you what's there. All right, here is looking at the back of the box. This is the top left corner, and it says the Amiga CD32 in the top. I haven't really let you see that too much here. The revolutionary game system. Think of it as technology at play. Try it once before you'll know you've entered a new era in entertainment technology. Never before has so much fun been engineered into a single machine. The Amiga CD32, with its full 32-bit processor and revolutionary graphics, has all the speed and snap you need for a thrill per second. Just pop your disc into the top-loading CD drive and live the adventure. It's got full motion video, provides over 70 minutes of movie-quality video. This is an upgrade that you could put in it. I think it lets you look at MPEG videos. I don't know if that came out from Commodore. It says it's supposed to be available the fall of '93. If it did come out, it was in super low qualities or quantities, I don't know. And then the CD32 games machine, and it basically just repeats what was on the front. I do want to point out that this box looks like it's in bad shape. I'll tell you why. When they shipped this over from China, they didn't bother putting this in another box. It came in this box, just like this. They slapped a sticker on the front that said it was to me, and then when I got this on my front door, or near my front door, it was just this box. I was like, what? It came all the way from China like that? And it did. All right, I'm going to open up the box. I have not opened this box, and let's see, I moved into this house in about 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now, and it's 2020, so it was in 2012, and I haven't opened this and used this system since a year or so, 2 years before I moved from that house. So hopefully this thing works. I don't know. I haven't even looked inside the box yet. We will check it out right now. This is the mighty CD32. This is the box, like I said, it came in. And if you're really interested in seeing a review of the system, I recommend you looking at a review that was done by GameSack. They did a great review. I live in New Mexico, they live up in Colorado. Maybe one of these days I'll run into them somehow, probably not. But they had someone lend them a CD32 unit and they reviewed it. And they didn't really have an Amiga experience, so their review is, I don't really agree with everything they say, but they give it an honest review. It's one of the few that I've seen that like they come at it and be like, well, what is this system? And I already know all about the Amiga before I ever saw one of these. All right, let me open it up. I'm trying not to get in the way of it. If I'm in the way, well, I'm in the way. Okay, so we've got the box a little bit more open. So I'm going to zoom into that a little bit, and so you can see what we've got. All right, I can't really honestly recall exactly how this system looked when I opened it up. It was very similar to this. It came with two controllers. So this is a CD32 controller. All right, another CD32 controller. This is what hooks onto the back. This hides an expansion port. I don't believe it came with this. This is one I had. This is just, for audio. These are the instructions. I think they're in several languages. Let's check it out real quick. Got a 1-year limited repair warranty. Maybe it only came with one controller and I bought the second one. I can't remember. It came with this crappy little switch box, which might still be in here. Let's check that out. The power supply, which kind of looks very much like a Commodore 64 power supply. What else? Tells you a little about the console, how to hook it up. I'll show you a little bit about that in a little minute here. And let's see. Inside here we have a cable that I made, which is a terrible, awful cable. This is the S-Video cable. It does work. It does work fine. But when I say, quote, fine, it's not fine. It's because I am not good at making cables. And the reason I made this is because this is an NTSC system, but I usually use it in PAL mode, and you can't use it on a TV here in America easily with doing that. But the Chroma Luma signals that come out of S-Video are compatible with the Amiga 1080 monitor I have, and it allows me to view it on a monitor. Alright, here we have, this didn't come with it, but this is something that's quite rare, and it's super handy and useful. This is the Competition Pro pad. I'm not going to show it exactly here, but that's what it is. It looks like a CD32 pad crossed over with a Sega Genesis pad. And so you can control everything this way. These are pretty rare. I got this for quite a bit of money even back in 2007. They're probably more rare now. I don't know. Maybe they're easy to find now. I haven't kept up with the times. This is not the way we're going to be hooking it up, but computer, RF, look at this. It didn't even come with the stuff you needed. Alright. Yeah. Commodore. I mean, I love your products, but your company, I'll tell you. Alright, now we have this incredibly heavy power supply, which is actually bulging at the bottom. That is not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. So maybe the caps need to be replaced. I don't even know if I should dare turn it on now that I see that. Alright, there's that. This is another cable that came with it. This is so you can hook it up to here. So you would, of course, hook it into here. Then you hook it up into the RF switch on the back. I'm going to not bother with all this. Oh, here's something I never hooked up. This was something I mentioned in another video. I'll show that in a close-up later. But this is how you get your D-pad. So basically this, if you look at it closely, has little 4 indentions which come right onto here, and then you glue them. This is actually glue. I'm not going to turn it on, and it makes the CD pad much more comfortable. I'd like to ask anyone if this is available, and more of them, because I don't want to take it out of here, and I'm not going to use these. It's so weird, but I'm guessing it has something to do with so they didn't have to pay Nintendo money. Right. What have we got? What do we got? I was going to take it out and just show it to you, but this is sort of an unboxing video. I don't really do these normally. In fact, not normally. I don't think I've ever done an unboxing video before. So here's my first one, sort of, kind of. And I guess I have like 175 videos uploaded, so it must mean something. Alright, so it's in the plastic packaging, and take off one side, take off the other side, and we'll take this out of here, and we have a very nice and clean CD32 unit. I'll maybe turn it around here so you can see some of the stuff on the back. I will show this a little bit better later. With S-Video, composite, RF, power supply, on-off switch. This is the expansion that allows my unit to plug in. That is the SX-32, or SX-1 in my case, and it lets me turn this into basically a unit that lets you have a hard drive and all that stuff. On the side here we have a mouse port, a joystick port. Normally you wouldn't put a mouse in here, but it is compatible with the mouse port, and some games do use it. And then we have an aux port. This lets you use a PC keyboard, I think. I might be lying. Maybe I take that back. It lets you use a CD32. Let's use this CD32 with a Amiga 4000 or keyboard, or you can use an Amiga 2000 or Amiga 3000 keyboard with it, with an adapter. And I have the adapter. I'll be using that to show some stuff. All right, I'm going to put some of this aside and just do a show you the system sort of a little bit closer and nicer. How did this get in there all of a sudden? Does anyone know what this is? At least one of my viewers does. Robert, this is in here for you. You left a comment on my page today, and we had a few exchanges and emails and comments and via TarAge, and you're a Texas Instruments TI-99 4A fan. I have one, so I haven't used it really. I only have one. I forgot I even had this cartridge. I have Munchman, so I could test that it actually worked. This is the only accessories I have for it. This thing does work. This TV modulator doesn't work too well. It does give me a picture, but it's so bad, so terrible. I haven't actually even tried it with this. This is a cassette cable. I know I can load software into TI Basic, and I don't, though I haven't. And this is something that plugs into the side and allows me to use Atari joysticks with my TI-99. I haven't actually tested this yet either. So, Robert, maybe you and I will get together and we'll play this sometime. It turns out you're local, and it'd be fun to do that. But the main focus of this is this. This was just a cameo. Maybe one day if Robert teaches me a little about the TI-99, I'll show a game or two on here. But for now, I'm not going to do that. Also, I'm going to say hello to my friend Chris, who is a fan of this system in some ways. He plays it on emulation sometimes because he knows, and he's quite right, that there are some really great games on here. Because this, I think, has the same exact chip that's in the ColecoVision, and as most game players know who are into systems from the early 80s, the ColecoVision is one of the best of the period. And so that kind of makes this one and the same, which might bring us to this. I do want to say, and I said there was going to be a comparison between the two 16-bit consoles, battle to the death or something or other. This is actually sort of a 16-bit console, and this is a 32-bit console. I forgot that it's 32-bit, not 16-bit, but close enough. It's just, it was meant to be a joke. So here's the battle. All right, now we're going to focus back on the star of the show here, the CD32. This is the CD32. This is an up-close and personal version of it. I haven't noted yet, but the CD32 never actually came out in America. It was never released here. I think it was released in Canada. It was supposed to be here. I think they had 100,000 of them in the Philippines ready to ship. And when they went into bankruptcy, they couldn't ship them. Something like that. I don't know the complete story. That's the system opening up. It feels kind of cheap, but I mean, it does work. And I think it just... you know, it is an expensive product. I don't know how much it was supposed to retail for here. I remember before it came out, there was a magazine that was rating all the current consoles coming out, and this got a 2 out of 10 in an American magazine. And I was like, what? That's an Amiga product. It's going to be great. They were kind of right. If you had bought one of these, I guess you couldn't have because it never got released here. You would have been kind of screwed because then Commodore went out of business. So they sort of knew what they were talking about. Here you've got the reset screen though. You can listen to headphones, adjust the volume, kind of like you can on the first generation Sega Genesis. I don't think I've even ever tried using that. Let's see what's on the back of the unit though. Here's the back of my CD32. This is the cover that covers the expansion port. It's not screwed on right now. Most people probably never took this off. I need to take it off to use my system because, well, I won't today. In fact, I might not even show my system today. I don't think I'm gonna. I've talked about these ports already. The one port you'll notice that's on, I think, every Amiga. It's not on this one. It's even on a CDTV, is the 23-pin video connector so you can have analog out. The SX-1 that I have that plugs into here does have that, so I can use it with my Amiga monitor just fine. It looks beautiful. Yeah. What I'll be using today is composite, so I'll be using that with stereo sound, although my Amiga only takes mono sound. Or my Amiga monitor only takes mono sound. This is S-Video, as I said. I don't think I need to show anything more there. Once again, this is the left side of the console and the joystick ports. This is where I'll be putting my Amiga mouse when I do use that. I'm not even sure if I can show you any software today because I don't have an easy way to show PAL games. But we'll see what we can do. I might not even try to show games. I mentioned that already. This is, like I said, the keyboard input. The SX system actually has its own keyboard, and when you use that one, this one is disabled. All right, this is some ugly bubble wrap. What the hell's in here? This is what I've been talking about off and on throughout the video. This is an expansion I bought from Software Hut used in 2007 for $75. It was on their website, and I was like, certainly that can't be the right price, because these were a lot of money when they came out, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, this is the SX-1. Let's see if I've got this in the picture a little bit. All right, so that looks pretty tiny. Let's get it up next to the CD32 and see what it looks like. Okay, this is just for size comparison, because this is not where you plug in the SX-1. It gets plugged into the back on the right-hand side of the system. I'm going to do another comparison. This is a little surprise since I took out a Cameo computer a minute ago, but I will show you some more about this here in a minute. It's got some expansions in the back, on the sides, insides, and the right side, so it's expanded all around, and this is the input that plugs into the back. I'm hoping my CD32 works. That'd be great. I'm hoping the battery hasn't leaked. That'd be great. If the battery has leaked, undoubtedly it's leaked into an area where it will make it so this RAM expansion will not work anymore. It'll plug in, but it eats and corrodes the connector, which would be a shame. I should have been more aware and taken off that battery. I wasn't even aware that the CD32 had a battery, although now that I think about it, how else would it have been able to save games? All right, so next I'm going to show you how this thing does not get set into a system. All right, why am I showing the Texas Instruments again? It's because this TI computer is also expandable, and you could add RAM expansions and disk drives and things like that to the side here, and it has an expansion on the side that lets you do that. It slides up and down, and this is how you would expand the system. And I think in the beginning, before they had an expansion box, you would add a I'm walking around my camera trying not to knock it over. You would add something here, then you would add something next to that. So like you'd have this, then you'd add one of these, and then pretend this is still here. And I think then you'd add another one. I mean, that's how some of these systems were expanded. So that's not luckily how we're going to have to deal with the CD32 today. This is what the CD32 looks like when it's connected to my SX-1. So it is connected, no problems. I have no idea if it works, like I said. Still haven't tried to turn the system on. And I may try before the video is over. We will see. If not, we will end in a cliffhanger. System still starts up with this. Something I'd forgotten about until I was plugging it in is there's a pass-through on this thing. So if you have that MPEG player, you can still use it with this, I think. At least it allows you to plug it in at the same time. I'm assuming you can still use it. All right, I'm going to show you some of what this allows you to plug in. This is the rear of the CD32. This is the CD32 way up here. This is about 6 or 8 inches here of space. Here we have a parallel port on the left-hand side of the SX-1. There's actually other expansions over here. We have a disable it, which I don't know if you needed to do that. I don't remember having to do that. This is a hard drive output. I never used this external one. I don't think it's SCSI, so I don't know what it is, because internally it's an IDE device. And I don't know what that is. I'm going to turn it a little bit so you can see what we have here on this side. I'm going to bring it a little closer to the monitor, or to the camera. And then we have, this is the back. Here's where the RGB is, which is a little awkward considering we have the power supply going in here. So the system's kind of rigged, but guess what? It is rigged. That's why it plugs into the back of CD32 and turns your game console into a computer. Like, you can search, like, well, at the time, you could go on the internet with this thing. Anything a computer could do at the time. All right, there's one more side I want to show you. And that's this. This is the right side of the SX-1. You can plug in a floppy drive. So, yeah, that boots up as a DF0, so the first one. You have serial, so I'll be able to move files back and forth. You could plug in an AT keyboard, which I don't know if it's actually an AT keyboard. I'll have to check. I can't remember. I used to plug it in. You know, I don't know if it is. It's a good question. And audio. I don't know what this is. This is like a non-standard audio. I don't remember that either. I've never used that one. All right, so we are going to, I guess, jump a little bit ahead and maybe try plugging this in. I've got a few minutes. It's getting kind of late here, but not too late. I kind of hesitate to plug it in after I saw that power supply there, but we'll see. I was getting quite a bit ahead of myself. I have this entire box of CD32 stuff to explore. This is mostly all copied software. There was this archive in Europe which I found that was required FTP access in 2007 to download software. But I traded the guy for a password. I sent him a whole bunch of original software for the Amiga. And so he gave me the password and I was able to download lots of stuff. Kind of an awkward trade, but it worked. So I did open this box. I didn't really take anything out, but I noticed it was pretty dusty. So we'll see how this works out. This one I might have to open up on the floor because I've been doing this up on a table. To save myself the trouble of going through everything that was dusty that was in that box, I just opened it up, dusted some of the stuff off, and took it out. These are all Cv32 software. Well, this is a box of disks. Why this was in there, I don't know. I think I know why it's in there. It's because this is some stuff that I installed on the CD32's hard drive. Most of all of this is copies. I think I have 2 pieces of software in here, which is good, that are original disks, because I think this one's actually for the CD32, but this one's actually for the CDTV. It was kind of just a multimedia thing to show you what could be done on it. But it will work with the CD32, I believe. No, it says it's for the CD32, but I think it was originally for the CDTV. But I believe both of these pieces of software are NTSC compatible, so I'll be able to show you at least some software that's not going to look all messed up. And then I'm going to actually have, in not this video, but another video, I'm going to ask for some help with the CD32 stuff. But I'm going to take out some and highlight some software here to see if anyone is interested in some of this stuff. I actually went through quite a bit of trouble doing this. I would never do this now. I don't know what I was thinking. But I made, it looks kind of like original software, but you know, when you open it up, this is just a CD. So yeah, there you go. I think some of these are gold CDs because I wanted them to last a while. We'll see. Looking at some of the stuff, there's some pretty neat software in here. I forgot how much software was available for the system. And also I have, let's see if I can find them. Like, I don't know if this is actually true, but these are, there's something called The Company now that actually makes, and puts out software, like a whole bunch of stuff that actually came out on the Amiga. But you can boot this up on your Amiga or on your CD32, and this one will show you 100 games. These are all PD. This was actually, I think, an actual release. But these were created. And I don't think there's really 350 games on here, and 880 on here, and 444. But they've got a lot of games on here. And you can load all these games, and they normally would have boot from floppy, but they'll work and boot from a CD32. Pretty neat, right? Okay, these are some discs I was looking for earlier. If I hadn't found them, it wouldn't have mattered too much. These are just happen to be the original discs. This is Deluxe Paint 4, along with its extras disc that came in the box. I knew I had it somewhere around here. I think I have the manual for it. I can't find that either, or maybe I found that already. I can't. I've been looking through so much Amiga stuff lately. So a lot of these floppies were important at some point. Not too important to me now. Any data that I had, I eventually got off of the Amigas, put it elsewhere. But Deluxe Paint is a great paint program, even probably to this day, if you're working with bitmap art. And I have it installed in my CD32, which is kind of amusing. Yeah, the CD32 is a neat machine. It's too bad it never was released in America. I certainly wouldn't have saved Commodore, because Commodore couldn't be saving. I mean, if they couldn't, if the Amiga 1000 couldn't get them going, and the Amiga 2000 and 3000, if they couldn't run with that, nothing could have saved them. But it was a neat machine. It was, I think, a good machine to end on. These are all of my CDs out at once. There's about almost 80 of them. Like I said earlier, not all of this is original software, but it's quite a bit of collection of stuff. I'm going to take a highlight of a couple of games that I would like to try, and then I'm going to try to hook it up. It's getting close for me to wrap things up here, so I'm going to at least try to boot up something if I can, even if it's just the title screen so you can see the Amiga works, and hopefully it does. Cross your fingers, cross your fingers. I don't think these are actually going to be the games I want to show for this video, but these are highly regarded CD32 games, or two of them are. Banshee, which is it's a vertical shooter. It's a great little game. Super Stardust, which is basically just an Asteroids clone, but not clone. It's a game similar to Asteroids. Got great graphics on AGA systems. This, like I said, I'm pretty darn sure is a NTSC compatible. We'll find out. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but there was a magazine just aimed at the CD32. I don't know how many there were, but volume 21, so there were at least about 2 years worth of it. Went up to 96, pretty long time. I used to have a couple issues. I don't know what ended up happening to them. I don't have them anymore. Alright, the next thing you're going to see is me hopefully turning this system on and not seeing smoke. Alright, let's get going. In my eagerness to test my CD32, I had this idea that, you know what, since I have a bulging power supply, I should probably test it. And I'm glad I did. I didn't actually plug it into my CD32, but I found the specs on the CD32 power supply, and I checked them, and the power supply only has, it has power, but it's not correct. So I'll zoom in on that, and then I'm going to end the video, and I'll see what I can do to get a CD32 power supply that works. And if I can't find one, it's not a big deal. I have plenty of other Amigas. The CD32 probably does work, but the power supply probably does not. And maybe I can buy one somewhere on the internet or make my own, which I'll probably skip. But alright, let me show you what I'm getting when I do try to use the power supply, or when I test it. Alright, so there you can see that I've got my digital multimeter hooked up over here for DC voltage. I've got my iPad here. I've got my pinout for the power supply because I didn't know what it was. Here is my bulging CD32 power supply. I don't know if you can see the bottom, but it's bulging out bad. And so I'm guessing the caps in there are toast or something. And whatever the case is, they're not giving the correct power out. And so over here, when I touch pin, what is it, pin 3, that's ground, so pin 3. And when I touch pin 2, I should be getting 12 volts. And I get voltage, but it's not 12 volts, it's like 6 or 7 or something like that. Is it? Yeah, it's about 7 volts. So it should be 12, so that's not right. And when I touch the ground to pin 1, I should be getting 5 volts. And I'm not getting anything at all. So, yeah. I'm going to get a little teeny something, just barely anything. So once more I'll show you. And which is okay. I mean, that probably, unless there's a short in here, which would be bad. But that's probably not, it wouldn't have hurt the CD32, it just wouldn't have worked, because it's not like it's got the extra voltage coming out of there. But again, this right here should be 12 volts, and it's not, and the other one is 0 volts. So that's it. I want to end on that, and in the next video, I'm not sure what I'm going to show. I was expecting to show some more CD32 stuff, but I guess I'll end up on showing the CD32 next to something, maybe, and okay, I'm going to shut off the video here. This is where I'm going to end it. I do want to say, if you guys don't have a multimeter, get one. They're easy to use. There's little videos you can watch, read directions. You don't need to worry about too much stuff. The worst you can do is, I guess you could, well, there are some pretty bad things you could do if you make some mistakes, but mostly you'd hurt damaged equipment and not yourself. Like I actually, in this multimeter once, when you're measuring amperage, you move it over here, and I was measuring amperage without, but in this position, and I damaged my equipment. But luckily, it has a nice fuse in there, and I just blew the fuse. So that's something you can do. On less expensive equipment, you probably would have broken the meter. Anyway, CD32 probably won't be using you for a while, not unless I can find some way to get a replacement power supply, which is fine because these power supplies are old and nasty and probably should be replaced anyway. Since this is my CD32 and it's an original disc, I'm going to actually place something in here and close out here, because this is one of my 2 original discs. This is what the inside of something looks like here. Too bad I can't show you, but that's okay. At least we got to check out, and I'm glad that I tried testing it first. So I'm going to send it out here. Let's line it up and close it out. All right. Have a good one, and in the next video I'm going to probably show off some more Amiga stuff. It's going to probably be my Amiga 1200. All right, have a good one. Even though I couldn't get my CD32 up and running in this episode, I did enjoy putting this episode together, and since this is some of my final thoughts and I'm just about finished editing, I did take a few minutes today to see if I could find a CD32 power supply, and I could find them from a place in Poland, and they're supposedly rebuilt, and not rebuilt, they're brand new, and they cost they're not cheap, they're like $50 plus shipping, so I don't know how much it would cost to get here to New Mexico. I think I'm going to take a break from using the Amiga for 1 episode or 2 episodes, and actually maybe play around with my TI-99/4A that you saw in this episode, or maybe I will use my Timex 2068, or maybe even one of my Ataris. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back with another one soon.